Hi, my name is Gene. I represent Stopping Time, and just basically here to show you what I do with the old Crosley Showbox and Gembox radios. Um, because of the pop metal that's contained in them, some have been afraid to mess with these because they end up at a point where they can't progress any further with it. So I'm going to show you what I do and to get these looking good and working again. I also incorporate a separate Bluetooth system into them so that somebody can have a working unit but can still enjoy it on a regular basis without having to put wear and tear on it. But this is a Gembox from the 20s, late 20s. The can is in really good shape. It's rusty. The knobs, I'm not sure if the lighting is allowing you to see the knobs are in good shape, which is rare. Take the lid off, and this is typical what the inside will look like. The bottom will look pretty rusty. But what it mainly needs is a good cleaning, sanding. A lot of these parts, and they can be repainted to look good again. The tuning condenser, this is what I was talking about, the pop metal. There's actually pop metal right here that in time this starts to break down, and it causes these blades to fan out, so that you can see in this case what ends up happening is the blades end up touching and renders it useless. So I've had to replace the adjustable condensers from other units that did not contain the pop metal. Radio I'm going to show you, I was able to get a tuning condenser from a Stuart Warner radio that was in really great shape and ended up working terrific. May not be able to see it, but there's a part that looks just like this down at the base here, and this is what happens. This is also pop metal, and this breaks down. This, just from use, I've had these come in where they're just busted apart, and again, useless. The one that's in here is almost cemented together, so you can't even move it any longer. So I hope I'll be able to revive that, but I'll show you what I do about that as well. I have replaced the audio amp. There's actually 2 amps contained within this, and you can get them fairly inexpensive, and the new ones work great. I think they're about $24 each or less. And but it does take 2 to replace this, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done, when we look at the other radio as well. So this is a typical Dynacone speaker that typically went with these, and you can still get these. They're still on eBay, fairly reasonably priced. The ones I've gotten so far have worked. I've had to do very little to get the actual Dynacone speaker working, and so this is typical type of shape you get them in, fairly rusty, real and dusty as well, and just need a real good cleaning. And I actually paint these as well. I even paint the actual cone lightly, just to make it look new, and I paint them black. I don't go with the green. I just don't like the green. I know it's original, but I just don't care for that look. So I'll move you over to one that I'm working on presently, and this one that I'm working on over here is also a Gembox. And I've gotten pretty far along with it. In fact, it's really the guts of this thing are almost done. I haven't started any of the paint work on the box parts yet, but this is how I replaced this pot metal part, which was used for fine tuning, I 3D printed, and I expect this to have real longevity, and so it works great. This actual part doesn't do a whole lot. Most of your tuning you get right from your adjustable condenser, and you can see that I've replaced the pot metal Crosley tuning condenser with that of another, and again, I should get longevity out of that as well. The two audio amps, they're below this. I 3D print a cover for that as well, and I also 3D print a cover for this, so that when you look in the box, you don't see this structure. When you open up the box, you see a cover basically there. So just to add to the aesthetics, I probably am gonna 3D print another one, because the Bluetooth unit is actually going to go right here, and I'll show you that in the Showbox that I've already printed or already finished. So I'll show you that, and actually this is that same pot metal part which did come busted in another unit. But here's a finished Showbox, and you can see what the speaker now looks like. It's been painted. The cone has been painted. The original cone had a little splash of gold in there, so I do that as well. And with the radio, I add a 3-prong cord and plug so that I can incorporate the ground right into the cord, so that the person doesn't have to run a separate ground, which these older radios required. So it eliminates that complexity with it. The speaker is actually a dual speaker, so I run separate cords, one for the Dynacone itself and one for the two stereo speakers that I have within the Dynacone that work along with the Bluetooth unit. These knobs were not in good shape when it came in, so I 3D printed those. This has already been painted, and here's the cover. It's a beautiful piece when it's finished and put together. Show you basically what the insides look like. Very attractive. There's the Stuart Warner tuning condenser in there that, again, I added the cover to it. There's the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is hardwired right into the AC cord in the unit, so there's not two separate power cords. It's just one power cord. Unfortunately, to have enough amps for this Bluetooth, it's got to have a pretty good sized transformer. There's not a whole lot of places to put that, so I paint it, make it look a little bit better, and I have to find a spot in the radio for it. In my next video, I'll show you what I did with the Gembox, how I dealt with that. So that's about it. I can't really demonstrate the Bluetooth because I'm using my phone to record this, so I don't have a source to play through the Bluetooth presently for you. But the radio is hooked up to a ham style antenna that I have outside that I purchased on eBay, which works really excellent. I'll give you that information at some other time as well. And I'm not really here to teach you how to replace the capacitors or the resistors. There's some excellent teachers already online doing this. One of them is Terry with D-Lab. I've really enjoyed his videos, very educational, entertaining, a real pro, somebody that really enjoys his work. And there's others that are on YouTube as well that you can learn from. But he can show you how to actually take care of restoring the radio to a working condition, an operating condition. And didn't show you the replaced capacitors. I'll show you that. Before I do that, just demonstrate that it works. So turn it on.
Ready to give it a try. Take a packet every morning, a packet.
So I've hardly turned the dial, and there's a lot of stations that I've had action with, and so the unit works great, especially if you have the right antenna. And I could turn the Bluetooth on. You'll probably hear it come on, but unfortunately I don't have a source, and it's actually connected to my phone. So if I were to speak, you will hear the audio come through this speaker. So I'll turn that off. And other than that, this is what basically it'll look like. The finished unit will look like underneath. The two electrolytic capacitors have been replaced from this unit. Again, this will come generally with full of acid, so I empty that out as safe as I can and clean that up and dry it out so it's not a hazard any longer. But I leave it in there for the aesthetics because it does look cool in there. This is a dual capacitor that I've replaced it with these two capacitors here. This one was already replaced, and not a whole lot to do as far as that goes in this unit. I do these wires are usually pretty rotted out of the main power transformer. So what I'll do is put a shrink wrap over those wires and to make them safer in general, and sometimes completely remove all of the old substance and put a shrink wrap over the top of it to make it safe. So that's about it. It's just something I enjoy doing, and there'll be other videos following up that show more of the how-to of what I do step by step. In fact, I'm going to try to do that with the first radio that I showed you, and hopefully we can get that working and sounding good, and actually demonstrate the audio that comes out of this. It's the Bluetooth is crisp, of course, with the size of the speakers in mind. You can't blast a room with it, but small room, shop, den, sitting area, a study. It's just the perfect setup for beauty and for history, and just to be able to enjoy the unit. You can enjoy the unit without putting any wear on it by using the Bluetooth. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Be safe in these times that we're living right now, and love your neighbor. Thanks a lot. Bye.